What is going on, guys? Corrosive Bullet here, and today we are going to be doing a deck profile for Majin Buu. Yeah, I know. I said I was never going to play any of the Buu decks, but to be absolutely fair, I think Fat Buu is probably one of the more fun decks to run in this current format right now. Forget Super Buu, forget Kid Buu, forget all of them. The Fat Buu is a lot of fun. Now, I don't think Fat Buu is necessarily the most... I don't know what the word would be for it. He's not as bad as, like, in terms of the meta, like, he's not as bad or, like, hard to match up into compared to, like, Kid Buu or Super Buu. He's definitely a lot easier to get around, at least in my opinion, just from playing him. But, yeah, no, he's a lot of fun here. So, we're going to go over him today. We're going to showcase some games. Might be a little bit of a shorter video just because I got some time constraints, but... I will do what I can to show you guys what this guy's capable of. So, in terms of the build, we need a lot of the Wicked Soul stuff. So, for Wicked Soul stuff, we got this 3-cost Deborah that's able to self-awaken and then cheat out a 2-cost Wicked Soul. We got this other Deborah here that can rest 2 costs when he blocks. We got this Deborah, which allows us to draw one when a Babidi is in the battle area. We got this Deborah. It's all Deborah, by the way. Yeah, this Deborah, which can be cheated out for 2 on the unawakened side. And then when we have the barrier Babidi on the board, we can also cheat him out for 2. He's kind of here for that. But that's really the... Oh, and then we got Yakon. This Yakon's really good. This Yakon allows us to play out a 3-cost or less in Wicked Soul. So generally, my targets are going to be... My targets are usually going to be either this Deborah to cheat out something else, or it's going to be one of these 2 blockers generally that I try to push out there. In terms of the Majin Buu package, obviously we want a full play set of the barrier Babidis to get the blockers up, because this is basically blocker the deck. We want to be able to constantly have an influx of blockers on the board to kind of protect ourselves. We got 3 of this Majin Buu, who's got barrier. This card is insanely good with this Babidi. Can't beat it. We also got 2 and 2 of the 3-cost Crit Buu and the 4-cost Buu here. Basically, the idea would be that for decks that we want to be a little bit more apply some more offensive pressure, we play this guy out. It's a 25k crit, and then hopefully we're awakened by that point, and we're able to cheat out this guy. Because these guys' effects only work if your leader has Majin in his traits, so we have to be awakened to really get this combo going, right? Otherwise, we're more or less just playing this out on turn 4 as opposed to playing this guy out, right? And then obviously 3 of the double strikers. We have our 1 Babidi that does the minusing, so obviously we're going to incorporate some of this Buu because obviously that combo is really, really good. Certain matchups will help us in that particular lineup. But we do, once again, need to be careful because the leader needs to be Majin for us to be able to cheat something out here. So, yeah, so we want to make sure that we're awake for this. So this is a play that we don't do until, like, later in the game, which obviously we want to try to give ourselves an easier time going for end of game. So, and then we got 2 of this Fat Buu, or not Fat Buu, the Buff Buu, just because its offensive pressure can be really, really crazy. So, that's the deck profile. Let's get into the games. All right, so this first matchup is going to be up against the Bulma deck. Now, I'm not really worried about this particular matchup, mainly due to the fact that she doesn't really get much in the way of removal. She has Spike, and I believe she plays Spike in this particular match one time, but it's a very, very specific, and they're not really able to remove our barrier stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. So they're just going to spend their time, they're going to cycle out, they're going to self-awaken. We're going to try not to swing into lead as often as we possibly can, just because we don't want them to get their leader awaken ability going, right? So they just start, building up their hand, keeping their hand size full. I thought this was interesting. I don't know why they would have played it when they could have just comboed it out of hand, but I mean, sure. Yep, so we start getting our setup going. We definitely want to start this early in this particular matchup because Once they get awakened, they can start putting out some crazy pressure. Yep. And once again, we're gonna start building up our board, going crazy. Keeping our hand size up as best as we possibly can. And I don't think they're gonna play out Spike this turn, so I kind of just let this rock. I kind of just let this go. We'll have them awaken us. Yep, and so we're just going to block that big swing, and that's really just kind of be the end of the turn. So now, excuse me. Now we want to try and remove board. So we're going to have a lot of heavy case swings here. And they got a lot of cards in their hands. So we're going to play the double striker combo, make them discard a bunch of cards. They're going to take these hits. And block where they want to block. And then we're going to make our 5 cost the blocker because we don't want to lose out on our blocker, obviously. We make our 3 cost the blocker, then Spike can come in and KO them. So now we got our 4 cost Deborah out. And this actually came, I think, this match, I think, came a lot closer and a lot more down to the wire than I expected. So I knew Double Striker was coming, so I was just going to let this ride. And see how like, offensive they could get, right? But we have 2 super combos, so we can go to 60, and then we just have to combo off a bunch of stuff. They went all in with their hands, so... yeah, it was literally, like, really close. It was, like, 5. So what I probably could have done was, instead of swinging into lead, that second time with the battle card, I probably could have swung into something on their board. But yeah, I figured since they took the hit there, like, it would be better just to mill out their hand as best as we could and hope that our draw luck was a little bit better. Luckily, it was in this particular matchup. It was a lot closer than I expected. But definitely something to keep an eye out for. So, on to the next one. Alright, so our next match was up against Cell. And Cell could definitely be a bad matchup for us. His minus sync potential, his KO potential. Like, we gotta really try to focus in on getting barrier stuff out where we can. We have the setup going here. But in this particular instance, I'm trying to remember what I did here. I think I prioritized this 2 cost Deborah to get him out early because there's no way he can really remove this without KOing board, I think, right? Or maybe it was the 1 cost here, get rid of the 18. Yeah, it was. So I played this Buu to play out the Yamo. And we rested the 18 to get rid of the 18. Basically try to control the board as best we can. Yep, so then we play out the Yamu. And kind of go from there, right? Get the sped up a little bit. So he plays out the blocker. Doesn't really do much with the blocker. He decides to play the slower game. That's a little harder for us to remove. So I think here we set up Bobbity. Oh no, we played out the barrier first. Because we were already at turn 3. So... with a follow-up being on the barrier Bobbity. So we combo off the 1 cost Buu because we knew we were going to get minused anyway, and I wanted it to feel bad that that's what he had to do. And we decided, I think we do Bobbity into Deborah. And I think we focus board here. Yep, so we play the barrier, and then we play Deborah. Deborah gets a 30k swing in. He's comboing out of hand instead of doing anything with the blocker. I don't mind going up here because he's so low in hand size. He's at 6. And now he's going to have to contend with a blocker that he can't interact with, plus another one. So he does this, but like that's exactly what we want. We want him to actually like swing into the Yakon so we can start playing out other blockers and stuff. So, and we go down to 3 just so I can get an option to play off this other Yakon here. So once again, he's playing more Cell Juniors, so I'm blocking with this one, thinking that he's going to have another Cell Junior in hand. We're going to play out another Deborah. We can block this, and we can discard... I think we discard this. Yeah, it was a dead card in hand anyway. He doesn't combo with anything. So now we have a pretty decently sized board to actually like start swinging into. Like, we want this 18 or 17 gone. And he finally lets it go. So now we can start swinging at his face. And we start really building up our board now. Unfortunately, we are drawing dead cards, but at least, like, we can play out another Bobbity off our leader skill. And he's gonna have to give me a super combo here. So now we're low in hand size, and he's kind of on the up. But now he has to really, like, play around, like, our board. And so we start getting a little defensive. So he KOs that, and he KOs this. Or he KOs that, sure. We super combo. We block this because we can get rid of Final Explosion and we can bring it back. And we decide to let that go because we can't defend it. So it gets a little bit hairy here. So we started, I think we... Yep, so he lets that go. We keep this as another discard option for the Barrier Buu. Do this, see what we can play. We can't play anything. So we just double block her again. And now I think in this particular match, our opponent actually timed out. So we could have gone another turn or two, and it would have been a little bit harrowing for us to get around. But him being down at 1 definitely does not help things for him. So yeah, and that was when the turn ended. And again, so what could we have done here if we were able to extend our play lines? If he chose not to give up here. So obviously we swing for 20, we swing for 20, we swing for 25, we swing for 30, we swing for 30 twice. We can KO a Bobbity. Depending on what we would have drawn off of our leader swing. So let's see. So he had one super combo in hand. He had an instant transmission, which he can't play on our turn. And then he had 30k combo in hand, so it would have been tough. So like a 20k swing would have been this on board. Another 20k swing probably would have been this on board, if not one of these on board. Then another 25 swing would have been another 10, so he would have been down to about 30. With a super. Swing with 30, he probably would super there. And then we swing for 30 again, which would have been 2 10s, which he would have been left with 110 overall. And then we would have had another swing into him, and then we'd combo everything in our hand plus the 2 Bobbities on board, which would have been 40 50. So yeah, that was in our bag. If he chose not to give up here in this particular moment, because of the timer going out, like, we would have had it regardless. Even if he didn't run out of time, I think we would have had enough blockers on board to kind of to at least stand a chance, I think. Depending on what we would have drawn off our leader swings and stuff, we would have taken some hits if he swung for life. So, yeah, I mean, very interesting game. Definitely one that we probably should have lost, but I think him putting some extra time into thinking about it, I think really just kind of hurt him in the long run. So, on to the next one. Alright, so this next one's up against Kid Goku. Blue, I think, outside of Red, because Red can just minus us to infinity, Blue is probably our next worst matchup, if not the worst matchup for us in this particular instance. Everything that we play is relatively easy to remove outside of Barrier. So once again, I try to prioritize Barrier as best as I possibly can here. But I do a misplay. There's a huge misplay that I make in this. And that's due to the fact that this was like one of the first matches I ended up running when I built this deck. And it wasn't until I didn't realize that the 3-cost and 4-cost Buu package from the manga booster, you need to be a Majin leader to get the effects. So that effect, that alone, I think, is what ended up hurting us in the end. So we take this hit. We don't get a Barrier Buu. He passes turn. He doesn't want to swing into us. So I play this for a little bit of extra aggression. He takes it. And we have a means of being able to remove his board a little bit with the final explosion as well. So here's where I end up messing up. This is where I make the big mistake here. He cross-arm dives into another Jackie Chun, so obviously there's not much we can do until our next turn to get rid of that. So we're going to take some of these hits. I chose to let this go. And they comboed, and I'm pretty sure they probably comboed in just because they wanted me to misplay, right? So I let that go. I discarded my 4-cost, and unfortunately that doesn't go through because Babidi is not a Majin. So that hurts us a little bit. We use this to get rid of the crit and a Jackie Chun. Want to thin out his hand a little bit, so I swing for face. I don't care if he gets one draw off a Jackie Chun. It's when there's two that it becomes a bit of a problem. So either here or the next turn, I'm thinking he's going to double strike us. So I try not to go down to 2 in this particular matchup as best as I possibly can. He plays another crit. We awaken. We can super combo since we drew 2. Then we can combo the 1-cost because the 1-cost doesn't do anything for us. And so we're just going to keep on swinging, keep on swinging. We're going to freeze down the TN, get a draw, see what we get. We did get our Barrier Buu finally, so I didn't want to swing to the Jackie Chun there because it was just going to be the combo on the board, or the 1-cost on the board. So wanted to swing at face just so we could try and I wanted to do this just to get his free play out of the way. I didn't want him to... I wanted him to remove this Deborah off the board and not have to worry about it. He's real thin in hand. Like, he does not have much that he can really go off of unless he starts using his extras here. And we have both of our buffed Boos, so... So he ends turn, and so what does he have in combo power? He's got 10, 15, 25, 45, 50 overall. So 20, 25. It may not have mattered in the end. So he's got 45 combo in hand. So I swing a board. I choose to swing a board just because we got to get rid of, like, his offensive pressure that he has. And he is just comboing everything he possibly can. And then we can play out the double bobbity, get a double blocker situation going. So we gotta block some of these hits. So I blocked this first one because knowing full well that he can't do anything about my other one. Yep, so he swings. And the craziest part and what sucks about this is that I chose not to block because I didn't want him to go all in on us. Because I wanted him to go all in. I wanted him to try and go all in here, knowing full well that we'd be able to block here, but he had just like we were only able to match his combo power in this particular fight. So, it was a very, very close match. I think if I didn't miss combo there, if I didn't misplay with that 3-cost Buu, and maybe if I blocked out of it, I would have a little bit of extra swings to go into his face, and that probably would have helped things along, but sadly, that just wasn't what ended up happening. So, on to the last one. Alright, so this last match is going to be against Vegito. Vegito, again, blue, I think is one of our worst matchups. If not the worst matchup for this deck, just because of how easy it is to remove. But now we have the added concern of Vegito's 40k swings, which can obviously be a problem if we don't keep ourselves built up with a blocker board of some sort. So, once again, name of the game, 2-cost Bobbity, 3-cost Majin Buu. Get our stuff set up early so that he cannot remove our stuff, and then hope to God that we can play out some of our bigger swing pieces. Yep, so we got our Bobbity established, so we just roll with the punches. Next turn, we're going to play the Majin Buu here. We got a decent turn 4 play. Because this will at least shut down. This Buu shuts down like a lot of decks. Like if they have to play all their pieces out and use all their energy, and swing as best as they can until, like, unless we block with this. So, and he's got a lot of combo power in hand right now. Like, he's got all of his Zenos. He lost a couple super combos, which probably hurts him a little bit, but... And so we can block this. Awaken. This can die. We can get rid of a 0 combo, because the 0 combos don't do anything for us. And so in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, I think I play this 4-cost here. Yeah. Yeah, it's not getting any resting ability, but it is letting us keep our hand size up. And then we can play a second Bobbity off the bat. Yep, off the back. So we got 2 blockers. He can remove this with ease. And I want to believe that he was going to do this, but I think he misplayed with CU. A lot of people, for whatever reason, seem to really mess up this combination. I think a lot of people assume that this is a activate battle and not a activate main. And I feel like he probably could have use this effect in this match if he really wanted to, but I don't think he ever got the chance to. Because, like, right here, he swung with that. He's swinging for 55. He could have easily activated main, made that a double striker, and bounced that. And at this point, we just protect this, because... At that point, we just protect that, because there's no reason to just get the draw off that. So we use Final Explosion, we get rid of the problem cards, we remove the Vegeta that's on the board. We don't want any of those cards to stick around. And this slows down our plays a little bit, but at least we got the 2-cost Deborah that we can play out. And we can get a Yakon. But I think I chose to do this just so I can get a draw and keep my hand size up. And this is where he messed up, because obviously we're going to block that, and we're going to rest the Gotenks that he plays. And he combos, which was not a good idea, because we can just we can ditch a card, and we'd be perfectly fine bringing that back out. So, yep, we just keep on swinging at face now. He's at 6 cards in hand. We want to get him down to 2 where we can. Yep, so now we can do this. We can play out this, KO one of our dead cards, so we can draw one. And then we can just go all in with a double striker, and we get 115, which is actually which is respectable for a deck that utilizes more 5Ks than not. So we played that really well, I think. So, all right, let's wrap it up. So that is going to do it for today's deck profile video. Let me know what you guys think about Fat Buu. Definitely not the better of the... I don't think he's better than Kid Buu or Super Buu. I think those decks are definitely just... I think those decks are definitely just better outright. I mean, I think... Let me go back and take a look here real quick. I think that the leader rankings are up. Yeah, as you can clearly see, Kid Buu is number 1, Cells number 2, Super Buu's at 3. I have been saying for the longest time, people have been hounding me and critiquing me for saying it, that putting a limit on the discard Bobbity was going to hurt the Buu, and I said nope. I don't think it's going to do that. I think all the new boost support is strong enough to the point where you're basically just changing your playstyle with this guy. And look what that did. Yeah, Buu is up there. He is the 3rd highest played deck sitting there, up in God rank right now. So yeah, no, I think no, we're not playing games. We're not playing blooper reel, guys. Blooper reel. But yeah, no, I think Super Buu is still really good. Kid Buu is definitely the best of the 3. But this guy's a lot of fun. This deck is a lot of fun. And I think that's why I wanted to get this particular showcase out, just because I wanted to have a little bit of fun. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section below. Like and subscribe for more Fusion World content. I will see you guys all in the next Fusion World video. Peace.